Alright guys, welcome back for the third and final part of my coverage here of the Shizuoka Hobby Show 2023. We've already taken a look in the first part at everything that Bandai had to offer. In the second part, we took a look at everything that Kotobukiya had to offer. And in the third part today, we're going to be taking a look at a number of other different companies. And there's going to be just, once again, a lot of stuff to talk about. This year's Shizuoka Hobby Show was packed with a lot of really cool stuff on the way. So very exciting. If you guys missed the past parts, you can go back and check those out. If you guys have seen those two parts, and maybe some of these other companies or model kit lines are things that maybe you're less familiar with. Everybody knows Bandai, everybody knows Kotobukiya and kind of what they're putting out, but a lot of this stuff maybe went kind of under your guys' radar, so definitely stay tuned for this episode, as you may see some pretty cool stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about here today that I'm particularly excited for, so let's get right into it, and especially make sure you stick around to the very end, because one of the last things here that we're going to talk about in today's video is probably one of the most awesome model kits that was announced from the entire show, so look forward to that. As always, there's going to be time codes down below if you guys do want to skip around to a particular manufacturer or line or something. I will try to separate things out for you guys down in the timeline down there below. So, okay, let's get right into it here with Good Smile Company. First of all, we're going to be talking about Good Smile Company's Motoroid line. Now, again, like we saw with Kotobukiya, there's a lot of like super robot type stuff that's just stuff that I'm not familiar with. So I'll go through some of these, but I can't really give you guys too much more information about them. First up, we've got the Megazone 23 Garland, and some of these I do have information regarding the price and release date for them. Some of them I do not, so I'll just let you know. I'll kind of just let you guys see the pictures, because if this is stuff that you're more familiar with, maybe you'll know more about some of this stuff than I will. But up next, we've got the Hyper Red Jack Armor. This one is coming out in November for 8,900 yen. For that, we've got a couple of pictures of that. Looks like it's kind of got like a couple of different kind of forms and stuff. Up next then we've got the Orgus. This one also looks like it has kind of some sort of transformation, and then it looks like there's the Orgus and another model there that they had a display of, which I don't think is the same one, or it is the same and it just kind of transforms. No, maybe it is. It just sort of transforms or something. I'm not sure what the other one is that we're seeing there. But we've got the Orgus, and I guess it is the 40th anniversary for that one. That is coming out in January of next year for 7,000 yen. Then switching into something I'm at least a little bit more familiar with is Patlabor. So we've got the Economy and also the Mark II Standard. So two different ones that are coming out in the Motoroid line. The Motoroid line has seen a number of different releases from the Patlabor series. I have built one of the sets. So they're nice kits, very similar to like akin to like a Bandai HG. Essentially for these. A lot of people ask, what's the Motoroid line like? It's kind of hard to say exactly. It's basically like Bandai's HG line, sort of, but there is some variance kind of between the kits just in terms of the complexity of them. But I've reviewed a number of different Motoroid kits in the past, so just search on YouTube ZakuAurelius Motoroid and you'll see those come up to know kind of what my experience was with the couple of them that I've built. I think they're pretty cool. If it's a particular mecha design that you like and it's a Motoroid release, I would say check it out. Up next here we have the Galbion. Certainly a very interesting design there, and I guess it comes with like some kind of car or transforms into this car. It's kind of hard to tell. I think it transforms, sort of, or it looks like that anyway. But that's coming out in November at 7,500 yen for that. Up next, the Haoryu Knight Shippumaru and the Derringer. So these are a couple of very interesting kind of couple of releases there. Very stylized in terms of their proportions, I want to say. Sort of SD, kind of, but I don't know, it's not even like that. It's very strange proportions for that. Very niche, very unique designs there for those. We've also got the Queen Saidaron and a King Scatia. Again, pretty niche designs. I'm not even sure what those are or what they're from or anything, but you guys can see how those look. Up next then, here we've got the Mazinger Zest. So this one obviously a little bit more familiar with, again, just vaguely here. This particular Mazinger kit looks pretty cool, I gotta say. It's certainly looking very nice. Just the molding and the proportions and everything on that does look pretty cool. And then we've got the Knights and Magic toy box, and it looks like this one also. So we got like this kind of painted prototype, and then there's an unpainted prototype where it's in this big kind of like mecha chariot, and there are these kind of green like kind of horse mecha units that are kind of like at the front of there. So I'm not really sure what that's all about, if those are separate units. It was kind of hard to tell based on the information that was there about that. So again, if you guys know more about that, feel free to let me know But there's just kind of what was on display there from that series, from Knights and Magic. Okay. Now we do have a new release here on the way from Cheeto Serum as well. This is the Carbonia Graphites. Interestingly, these are designed by Masaki Apsi and Hyuk. So you guys may be familiar with some of those names just from the different, I think they've both done work for Bandai and Kotobukiya. But I've not built any of the Cheeto Serum kits. I've heard different things about them. People that I know who are fans of the line say that they do really enjoy the line. This one is probably going to be the first one that I will build from the series just because this is the design that I've found the most interesting so far. The other ones have been not exactly quite to my taste, but this one does look pretty cool. It looks like you have some different like option weapons and stuff or kind of accessories for this. It's sort of like soldier styled, I guess you could call it. And then we've also got a new Act Mode release. So this is the Act Mode Mio and Type 15 version 2. Close range attack mode. This is a new version here of Mio. I believe there was a previous version out in the Act Mode line, and then there's also going to be a Mio option pack, which is this big, huge, sort of like imagine like a Deep Striker version of like an option pack for this particular character model here for Mio. So I believe the Act Mode line, again, I'm not super familiar with it. I think that it's like the main character is like a figure, and then the rest of it is like a model kit that you build. So imagine like a release where you get a Figma for the character and then a mecha model that you have to build for everything else on it. I think that's what they're like. I've been meaning to try out this line just to kind of familiarize myself with it a bit more. There's not a whole lot of Act Mode releases, but I know there are some more coming on the way, so I will have to check one of those out in the future. That's everything from Good Smile Company that I took note of. Let's go ahead and move on into Max Factory. And one thing that I should say is that for some of these companies that I'm going to be talking about in today's video, I didn't necessarily get everything that from the company. Like with Bandai and Kotobukiya, I tried to cover everything that they were coming out with, but for some of these, I kind of just focused on the stuff that I found particularly interesting. So this is not necessarily completely comprehensive for the releases coming out from these companies. Anyway, okay, from Max Factory here, we've got a Lum plastic model. So Max Factory is coming out with this new line, or they have this new line that's going now of plastic model character figures. So it's kind of like Bandai's Figureize Labo line. So they're like figures that you would normally buy as just like a statue figure, but it's a model kit that you can actually build it yourself. So they have a Asuka and Mari kits coming out from Evangelion, and I believe there's maybe one or two more coming out in this line as well, but this one is the new one that they had to reveal there, which is a model kit of Lum, which does look really nice, so looking forward to that. So that will be a model kit that you can actually build and everything. Up next in their Guilty Princess line, we have the Guilty Princess Grimlinde, and this one has different look to it. In the Guilty Princess line so far, they've all been kind of like maid themed or lingerie themed. This one is kind of has like a different, more kind of fantastical theme to it, and you can see there's a color illustration there in the background where she has like kind of black clothing, and then like the wing parts on the back are purple with some gold accents and stuff like that. The actual figure, the kit that they had on display there is just an unpainted prototype, but that looked kind of interesting. There is also the Guilty Princess Ran and Jerry maid set version. So this is a couple of different maid model kits, maid themed model kits in the Guilty Princess line that are going to be coming out as well. These are going to be kind of similar to like the lingerie kits that have just recently come out, I believe, if not variants of those sort of. But no release date or prices that I saw for those. Moving on then, we have the Shin Japan Heroes Universe set here. This is Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Godzilla, and Evangelion all together in this kind of set. Now, I didn't see if this is going to be sold as a set or if these are going to be sold individually. I would imagine that these are going to be individual models that you can get, and then you can kind of display them like this as a set, or you can just get like any particular one that you're interested in. So those are all looking quite cool. I definitely would be interested in picking up some of those. Okay, and then probably one of the most exciting points of news from the entire show for me personally would be Max Factory's Falke. So Max Factory is coming out with their very first ever Maschinen Krieger kit, and it's a 1/35 scale version here of the Falke. The Falke was previously available in many different versions in 1/20 scale from Hasegawa. This one is going to be a bit smaller. You know, generally it looks the same. There's going to be a few slight differences, I think, probably, and then once I have it in hand, I'll actually be able to like compare it and, see like some minor details that are going to be different. But one of the things that this is going to be coming with, it looks like, is that it's coming with like the kind of stand for it, which looks really cool. So that'll be nice, just kind of addition to that kit. So I'm really looking forward to that. They had a couple of painted samples there on display. One's from Max, one's from Koyakayama-san, and then there was, I think, one or two more as well. So that is very cool. Definitely looking forward to that. Up next we had Supersonic Warriors Borgman Anis Farm. I'm not sure if that's like the correct pronunciation for that name, and I'm not sure the source material for this, but it sort of still looks very, very reminiscent to me of the Titanomakia series, which is coming out from Kotobukiya, those new kits coming from Kotobukiya that are designed by Naoki. This is kind of has a very similar sort of look to it, this sort of space suit that this female character has. But that does look quite nice as well. The clear parts for the chest and the shoulders are kind of a cool addition to that design, and just like the character. Looks like that'll be a nice kit. Up next here, Cyber Police Cyber Cop Jupiter Bit. This one very kind of looks like something out of like Kamen Rider or something like that, sort of Super Sentai looking kind of thing. Not really for me, but that does also look like that's going to be a pretty nice kit otherwise. Then we've got the Blasty from Cruise Chaser Blasty. Now, I had to look this up because I had to go back and check. I did actually build a different Blasty kit from Cruise Chaser Blasty, but this is like kind of a new version, and I don't know enough about it, even though I have built the one kit. I just am not that familiar with it other than just that kit that I built, but this one is a little bit different in its design, so I wonder kind of what is really different about that. It's kind of like a new version or something, but it was a pretty fun kit. It was an interesting kit to build, and this new one here coming out from Max Factory in the Plamax line does look really, really nice, and then this transforms and everything, so that'll be pretty cool to check out once that is on the way, but that's probably a while off. Couple other things here from the Minimum Factory that I'm very much looking forward to. Number one is the Minimum Factory Gunbuster with Noriko. So that looks really cool. I don't know what the size or the scale is, I should say. The Minimum Factory line, the characters are usually 120 scale, but the Gunbuster itself will be something much, much smaller, because as you can see, it's probably only going to be something like this big, about something like that, I would imagine. So whatever the scale will be for that, 1 to 5,000 or something, I don't know. But that does look really cool. The Minimum Factory line, I do really like, because those are really cool little model kits. So you'll get Gunbuster and Noriko together as a set, I guess it looks like, for that. And then the other Minimum Factory here is going to be the Side B set here of Shinonome Umi-san. So Side A, which I don't know if it was even labeled as Side A, but just the original release just recently came out, the Minimum Factory model of a 2 set there of Umi-san. And now we're getting Side B, which is going to be kind of just 2 more poses, kind of additional models there of her as a set. One like holding a box there, and the other one with the swimsuit. So those are going to be cool. Those are also 120 scale again. And then we have the 1/35 scale Dougram. This is something that was kind of teased before. I think we may have even saw a sample model at a different hobby show in the past, but we once again saw the 1/35 scale Dougram kit, which looks like that's going to be very cool. That's going to be quite a big kit compared to the different Dougram kits that we've had out before. So really looking forward to that one. And that one also, I should mention, I saw is coming as 2 different versions, the regular standard one, and there's like a deluxe version, which comes with more weapons and more little character models for that 1/35 scale. Also, definitely going to be looking forward to checking that one out. I'm very excited for that. That looks very cool. All right, there's a couple things here from Aoshima, not too much to talk about. There's a couple of variable fighter girls, their VFG line, which is sort of like Mecha Musume versions of Macross model kits. So the first one is the VF31A Makina Nakajima. Pretty cool looking one there, and you can see her like even standing on like the backpack as just like a kind of flying, almost like surfboard, but not surfboard shaped, but you kind of get the idea there. But that does look pretty nice. There's a couple of sample images there of that, and then also their VFG VB-6 Konig Monster. This one is a different and has different forms that you can make that into. So with these model kits, one of the things with them is that they are fully transformable. So I mean, like, there's many ways to build and like have them displayed. I guess it's kind of one of the things that they're quite big model kits and include a lot of parts, just because the Macross kit, it's like getting two kits in one. Essentially, you get like a Mecha Musume kit, which is like the character model kit, and then parts and weapons and stuff for that. And then you have your Macross kit, which would be the transformable mecha suit, and then they can kind of combine together. And there's a lot that you can do with these. If you guys, again, if you can search my reviews on the couple that I've reviewed in the past, yeah, they're quite elaborate kits. So those are on the way from Aoshima. And then Aoshima's got a new Gunbuster coming out as well. This is another 1,000 scale Gunbuster coming out in October for 12,000 yen. Now, as you guys may know, that Aoshima previously has made a Gunbuster kit, and that's been available in a couple of different forms, and I did review one of those. But this one, I guess, is going to be a new model kit version of Aoshima's Gunbuster, and I'm not sure exactly what's new about it. Looking at it, it does kind of look a bit different, but I'm not sure exactly to what extent how different this is from the previous Gunbuster kit that they've had. I know it does come with at least a new effect part there you can see for that kick, that effect part, but otherwise I'm interested to see more about this, just to kind of know what's going to be different about this from their previous Gunbuster kits that they've had. So that's coming out from Aoshima. All right, let's talk about ARTPLA. So ARTPLA is from the Kyoto company. So there's a number of really cool things coming out from them as well. Here we have more Machine and Krieger stuff. This is the Kuster. This is a 2-set that's going to be available very soon, actually in June. That's coming out for 6,000 yen. So it is, in my opinion, unfortunate that it's just a 2-set of Kuster. It would have been cool if like it came with one Krut and one Kuster as like a set. You could build it like kind of as either or in like between the variants. But there's the regular set, and there's also a special color version of the set where they're just molded in a different color. I don't even know if they come with different water slides. I haven't seen about that. But this, like the Falke that we were just talking about a moment ago, is the first Machine Krieger kit to come out in the ARTPLA line. But that said, Kyoto is the company that was behind the 35 Gachanen, like the capsule toys, the capsule model kits of the Machine Krieger suits. So this is the same company, but now just this is like under the ARTPLA line, so it's kind of a different line. It's not 35 Gachanen, but this is also 1/35 scale there of the Kuster, where again the previously available Kuster from Hasegawa, I believe it was Hasegawa, not Wave. Yeah, it would have been Hasegawa. Was 120 scale, so a smaller scale version, and you get 2 in one box, which is cool. All right, speaking of 1/35 scale stuff, they also have the Researchers and Tyrannosaurus set, which is coming out the next month in July for 5,000 yen. This one also looks very cool. They've done a number of these kind of recently where they had like different zoo sets coming with different people and zoo animals kind of together in these sets. So very cool little small scale figures of animals and people, in this case dinosaurs. And that does look really nice. Then they've got their non-scale Sculpture Works model kit series that's going to be starting off. I believe this the Sleipnir is the one that is out now. So that's out for 8,900 yen for that. The next couple ones are going to be coming out later on this year. So we've got a couple of Evangelion models in this line. The first one is the Evangelion Unit 02, the Beast Battle of Geofront. That looks awesome. That's coming out in September for 6,500 yen. And then there's also the Evangelion Test Type 01 Out of Control coming out in November for 6,500 yen. And these again are model kits, but they're meant to like look like sculptures. So again, it's the kind of thing that normally you would see something like this would be like a PVC like sculpture that you would just buy and then it's just like that. But this actually gives you the ability to build and paint it yourself. So that's Very cool. I'm really looking forward to these releases. They also have the Tower of the Sun, which is coming out in September. Now this one, seeing it here on display, I didn't realize I'd seen about this before, but this was the first time that I noticed all the internal stuff that you get with this kit. So there's just a load of parts on the inside of this, which looks quite interesting. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Tower of the Sun, it's a sculpture there in Japan. I can't remember where it is. I believe it's near Osaka. I could be wrong about that, but it's quite an interesting like sculpture work, very famous there in Japan. I've never actually been to see it, but a good friend of mine there is a big fan. So that's coming out for 18,000 yen, so quite expensive, but as you can see, it looks like a pretty good size kit, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff inside of it, so that's kind of cool. Up next then, we have another Gunbuster. Yes, there's a lot of Gunbuster stuff coming out. So this one is Gunbuster with Noriko and Kazumi. This one's coming out in 2023. We don't know exactly when. And again, this one, I believe like all of these are all non-scale. So I don't know exactly how big this is going to be, but I mean, obviously the Gunbuster itself and the characters are not in the same scale, but the characters I would assume are probably around 135th, 120 scale, around there, probably about yay or so big, and then the Gunbuster itself would be a little bit larger. So again, really cool to be seeing some more Gunbuster stuff. And up next, we've got another Scope Dog thing. So we have the Scope Dog Turbo Custom from Botums. It's going to be coming out as another one of these in the Sculpture Works line, and then some more Patlabor stuff as well. So we have the Patlabor Ingram Reactive Armor. All three Units 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3, different versions of that, and each one is like has a little bit different armaments, a little bit different pose, everything. So if you guys are Patlabor fans, those look pretty cool. I've always loved the look of the reactive armor on those. I don't know, I've never built any of the model kits of that, but these do look really nice. Also from Patlabor, there's going to be the Alphonse, the Griffin, and the Type XO. So 6 different model kits in this line coming out from Patlabor. So there's a lot of that stuff if you guys are fans. And then we've got the Tristan is another one of these here. Not really too familiar with this. I don't really know too much more about that. It's not really something that I have much familiarity with, but look at like the wings and especially the shield on that, like the relief sculpture on the shield is pretty incredible looking. So that looks really interesting. And then from Armored World Galliant, we have the Jashinhei and the Tetsukyo versus Jashinhei, and also the Kikorohei B. So again, I'm not really too familiar with these, but those are quite interesting looking sculpture models. So you can build those up and paint them. Those will be pretty fun. So kind of very similar to like the minimum factory line, but I guess like larger scale and like mecha stuff. So anyway, those all look really cool. Really looking forward to checking those out from ARTPLA. So let's talk about a couple of things here from Hasegawa as well. First of all, we have the Zabungle Gear coming out next month for 6,000 yen. This is something that has been on the way for a while, not necessarily new, but we saw the display there of that from Zabungle. That is what, 1 to 15,000 scale. So you'll have like the main gear, which I guess is like this sort of like transport ship, and then it also comes with a number of different other mechas that are going to be very small, teeny tiny scale that come with that. We also got more Macross stuff here. The VF1J Super Batroid Valkyrie media custom unit there of that. This one's out in June as well, so coming out pretty soon for 3,900 yen. There's a painted sample of that there on display as well. And then a new 120 scale Mechatro kit. This is the number 6 in the line of the 20 Mechatro series, so this is the larger scale ones. And this one again comes with a little character model in it and a very nice looking custom like water slide decal sheet for that, which looks very cute. And the little character figure is kind of very similar to ones that they've had in there before, and also the 20 scale versions of Evangelion custom crossover units of these releases here from the Mechatro line, like the Evangelion themed ones, all came with similar little resin character kits. So that's something that'll be just a small little 120 scale resin kit that of course you have to paint and do everything up by yourself. So not like a pre-painted figure or anything like that. That was basically it from Hasegawa that I saw for us to talk about from that. Let's talk about a few things here from Volks. Now, I believe there was some new 5-star stories stuff on display from Volks as well. I'm sorry that I don't have information on that stuff for you guys. I didn't gather that up. But if you guys saw something particularly interesting regarding the 5-star stories releases from Volks, let me know about that. A couple of things here that I did want to talk about is just from the Vlockers line. So the Vlockers Fiore line is their line of Mecha Musume model kits. I have reviewed one of them. I built and reviewed one of them. These are not very widely available outside of Japan. Not a whole lot of companies carry these Volks kits, so even in Japan, it doesn't seem like you see too many people really building the Vlockers kits too often. But there is the Fiore Hound, which is going to be coming out. This is one of those where you have like this mecha armor for that can also be transformed into a hound. Obviously, this kind of like dog mecha, or just like a regular kind of like walking mecha suit that can be like kind of its own kind of thing. This is going to be another example where it's kind of like two kits in one. You have like the Mecha Musume, like a character model kit, and then like the equipment model kit, which is kind of like its own thing, but you can combine them and do all that together. We also have the body option sets here, basically. These are the Drakaena, I think is how that's pronounced, Cyberpunk, and also Military Green option sets. So kind of similar to like the 30-Minute Sisters body option sets, I guess is what these are. So these are coming out in July for 2,000 yen. I think that's 2,000 yen each for these, and they're just kind of like different color versions of this kind of body set that you can get there for the Drakaena, which is very much kind of like alien themed in like the styling of that. Looks like something that is definitely inspired by the Alien movie, from the movie Aliens. And then one more thing is also the Dragon Wing sets. This is another just kind of option set that you can get there. This is coming out in July as well for 900 yen. It's just a set of dragon wings, and I think the shield and weapon, I think they're also kind of included, that kind of tail that you can see there on her. So that will be like a kind of option set available for that. Okay, going to Cavico, we're going to talk about some more Votom stuff. So I believe it's either this year or next year is the 40th anniversary of Votoms. That's why there's particularly a lot of Votom stuff at this Shizuoka Hobby Show this year, kind of more than usual, it seems like. Cavico in their ARTPLA line has had a number of different Scope Dog releases out so far. We saw a couple of new ones here in this case. This is the Parachute Sack and also the Round Mover. So these are going to be coming out as new versions of that just have different backpacks for them. Basically, the Round Mover also looks like it comes with this bazooka. I'm not sure if that's a new weapon. I think that's a new weapon for that. And the Parachute Pack looks pretty cool as well. There's so a couple new versions of the Scope Dog with new backpacks. I believe those are going to be like a full set where it's not just the backpack. It's going to be the Scope Dog and new backpack available as like a set, is how it looks like that's how that's going to be. And then we had two new ones. So we had the Snapping Turtle, which is going to be coming out next year. So it's going to be a while until we have that. But the Snapping Turtle there, so we just saw like the one little prototype there of that, but that looks pretty awesome. And then we also have the Fatty coming out as well. That one's also not going to be coming out until next year. So both of those, unfortunately, kind of a long way off. But if you guys have not tried out some of these Cavico kits there, the ARTPLA line, any of them, whether it be like the Notchin tanks or some of the more recent ones here, which are different Scope Dogs kits, those are definitely cool. Check them out. All right, up next, we'll talk about X Plus. Now, I have not built any models yet from the X Plus company, I will say, although I have both their Metropolis robot model kit and this Vampirella kit that I need to build and review, share with you guys. So those I'm going to actually be doing pretty soon, build-ups of those. And this first thing that we have to talk about from X Plus is actually a new version of their Vampirella kit. So this is the Vampirella JG kit, which is actually their second different version of Vampirella. This is in 1/8 scale, and it is like again, it's a model kit that you build of like just this character statue. But this is the glow-in-the-dark version that's coming out in October. So obviously the thing about this is that it glows in the dark, and I believe it's only like the pink parts, as you can see there, or it would be like her skin parts are going to be what's going to glow in the dark. So that's kind of interesting concepts. That'll be interesting to like see how you would go about painting that so that it glows in the dark. Would be pretty cool. So there's that. There is also their Revenge of the Creature kit, which is going to be coming out in August for 5,700 yen. So I should say X Plus, if you guys are unfamiliar with this model kit company, I wouldn't blame you guys at all. It's a fairly small company, and they kind of specialize in like model kits of monster movie stuff. So like especially a lot of obviously kind of retro and kind of cult classic kind of monster movie stuff. So like Vampirella, as I mentioned before, the Metropolis robot. Here we've got the Creature, Revenge of the Creature. And this one, again, you can see there as they have a painted sample and the unpainted sample there. So you can see it looks like it's going to be molded in metallic green. So kind of interesting there for that. We have also a new version of their Cyclops kit. This is also a glow-in-the-dark version of the Cyclops, where like I think it's like the top half only is glow-in-the-dark. So you can make that, and they have a kind of painted sample there of that as well. Looks kind of interesting. So that Cyclops is out in August for 5,500 yen. And they also have an Ultraman kit coming out in August for 5,400 yen as well, which comes with, it's kind of like a vignette there of Ultraman with like the electricity, like power pole kind of tower there right next to it. And it looks kind of standing there in like the farm. It looks like it has option faces for that. So you can choose different face options for the Ultraman. So that'll be a pretty cool model kit. And then they have some Jurassic Park stuff as well. So really looking forward to this 1/35th scale Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus kit, which is coming out in July for 5,500 yen. It's like of the scene of the Tyrannosaurus breaking out from the fence and chasing down Ian Malcolm. And then there's also a little Gennaro on the toilet, I guess, is also going to be coming with this as well. You can kind of see in the foreground in one of the pictures there that's maybe going to be included as well. So as a big Jurassic Park fan and dinosaur model kit fan, I'm really looking forward to that. That will be very cool. The model looks great, so looking forward to that. And then they also had on display there their new one, which is going to be the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. That one's going to be coming out in November. So that also does look really cool. And people have, among Jurassic Park fans, a lot of mixed feelings about the Spinosaurus, but either way, it looks like a cool kit. So that one I'm really looking forward to as well. That looks really nice. And then in the background there, you can see there's a teaser image for an Indominus Rex that they're going to be making as well, also in 1/35th scale. So there's not really too much to see. It's just kind of there in the background of the Spinosaurus photos. I didn't see any other better images of that, but awesome to see some new Jurassic Park model kits coming out there from X Plus. So some very cool, interesting model kits there coming out from that company. Last couple things here we're going to talk about. There was a couple of things from Gaia Notes that I thought was worth mentioning to you guys. So Gaia Notes is coming out with some new Surfacer. So this is their Surfacer Evo series, which is just kind of like the larger bottles of Surfacer. There's purple, orange, and clear Surfacer on the way here from Gaia Notes. So just some new colors available there for your Surfacer. Now, of course, you can kind of not clear, but you can make a kind of Surfacer in any color that you want. You just get white Surfacer and just add some paint to it, basically, and you can make it into whatever color. But if you did want to just buy some bottled purple or orange Surfacer, you can get that here, and also clear, which is pretty interesting. So you got that on the way from Gaia Notes, as well as they have some new color series, which are they have an Arcanadia color line that's on the way. There's not really too much to show about that. They only have a teaser image here with the Lumitia kit, so I guess like the first box. Normally when they do like a color series, it's like a box of 4 colors in there, and the one that they have here is the Lumitia, so I guess it's probably going to be like a certain shade of white, a skin tone color, a like yellow color for her hair, and then like some sort of like a bluish color there for like the blue accents, or like the gold, maybe something like that. I don't know exactly what that's going to be, but they've got that in the works. An Arcanadia line, also a Zabungle and Dunbine line. So they have some new colors coming out in the I believe they already have Zabungle and Dunbine paint lines, but they have new colors on the way in those lines. We don't know what they are yet. There's just a kind of a teaser image there for that. And there is new colors coming out in their Evangelion lines. So they've got some new Mari Illustrious themed colors coming out here. And that, I believe that Mari kit that they have there on display is the one that's coming out from Max Factory. So a kind of timed release for these new like specific paints to be coming out with that model from Max Factory, so you can paint that in the official colors from Gaia Notes. Last thing here is their new Sosai Shoujo Teien color series as well. So to go along with Kotobukiya's Sosai Shoujo Teien series, there's 3 sets on the way 3 different color sets that are going to be coming out, and like each one, like I said, is in like a little box of 4. So those look really nice. All 3 of those sets, again, for very specific colors, specifically for those model kits, but of course you can use them for whatever you want. But Gaia Notes' particular color series paints are really nice, if you can get them, but they're not always easy to get depending on where you live. So that's a couple of new paint-related stuff on the way from Gaia Notes, which I thought was kind of interesting. And the last thing here that we're going to talk about is from Studio Syuto. This is a company you may have seen around because they made a model kit of a wad of trash, and they made a sushi model kit where all the pieces of rice were individual pieces. You can put them together, and like you have your sushi piece, your fish piece that goes on the top, among a couple of different model kits. They've also made fried mandu gyoza model kits, and their new model kit is gonna be sesame dumpling. So this one does look pretty awesome. I guess they're saying that it has 900 parts. So if you look in like the background, each individual sesame seed is a separate piece, and I checked on the one runner that you can see in that image there is 300 sesame seeds on that runner. So I guess we're gonna have 3 of those runners in the box, and then plus like the 2 halves for like the actual like ball of it. So over 900 parts in this set there from Syuto. Yeah, sesame dumpling model kit. Looks pretty awesome. Alright guys, that was a lot of the stuff that was particularly interesting to me from these other companies. I'm sure there was some stuff that I missed, or some stuff that I maybe just forgot to mention about, and you guys can let me know if there's anything else that you think would be particularly interesting. Let me know in the comment section below of the stuff that I talked about, which are the model kits that you guys are most excited for. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out from these other companies, like I said, like the Jurassic Park model kits, all the different new Gunbuster model kits coming out from various different companies. All like the sculpture model kits I think are really interesting, and it's cool that those are getting kind of more popular because I really enjoy those. Those are really nice for people who do just not necessarily enjoy like the model building, because it's going to be very different from building something like a master grade model from Bandai, where there's a lot of building involved. With these, it's like with like the sculpture model kits, it's less parts. I mean, you have only a few parts, right? Not necessarily a whole lot of parts, but they're more like model kits for people who really enjoy the painting process, which I think is very cool. So anyway, a lot of really great stuff on the way. That's going to be it for my coverage of Shizuoka Hobby Show 2023. There was so much cool stuff that was shown there, and a lot of really great stuff to look forward to. Like I said, let me know what you guys are looking forward to in the comment section below. And of course, you guys can check the video description where I've got a link to USA Gundam Store. A lot of the stuff will be available at USA Gundam Store, but you guys can head there now and see what's currently available or currently up for pre-order. As well as, you know, paints and tools, supplies, and all that good stuff that you guys might be looking for. You can check that out, USA Gundam Store. Check the link. If you guys also want to like and subscribe while you're here, I would greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. Until next time, hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.